Alright guys, we are back for another episode of the Tacho Show, and it's been a hot minute since I updated my own tier list for the game, and I also just by happenstance found out that there's actually a tier list maker on the Fire Emblem Heroes unit builder. So we're going to use this tool here to assist me with coming up with a top 10 units in the game. I'm not going to do a complete tier list because, of course, what is there, like over 1,100 units in Fire Emblem Heroes at this point? You'd have to be a madman to try and do a tier list with every unit on it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a top 10. And just for a basis, a little bit of a groundwork here, we have Game 8, of course, with their up-to-date tier list. They're the only website, to my knowledge, that continues to update their tier list. So this is their top 10. They have Emblem in here. They've got Summer Edelgard, they've got Ninja Sanaki, they've got Summer Gulveig, they've got Bride Sharena, we got Winter Edelgard, Nabata Altina, Legendary Camilla, Legendary Ninian, and then Valentine Leon. As far as the top 10 goes, there's definitely some good stuff in here, but they are definitely missing a lot of very questionable choices. Like, where is the Duo Robin? Where is Attuned Micaiah? Like, these are units that are dominating the game right now. So I'm not too sure what the thought process is behind that. Certainly Summer Edelgard should not be in here anymore. So just because Game 8 did such a poor job at a top 10, I'm going to go ahead and chime in, and I'm going to do my own top 10 here. So we can sort by all movement types and all weapon types, and then unfiltered for title. And then for book, of course, we're going to start with book 8 because in the nature this game works with power creep. As units continue to release, they're just going to get stronger and stronger. So this is going to be our starting point here. And we'll just go down the list. I'm going to toss a bunch of units on here that I think at least have a claim to top 10. So we could start with this Attuned Erica. I have not had a chance to summon her or even use her. So I haven't even fought against her yet. So I think she probably needs a little bit more time to simmer in the pot. But I'll at least have her in here as a possible option. Gold Mary as well. We'll keep her as a possible option. All right, what else we got here? We have Summer Gulveig, who is insanely dominant. She just, like, completely bodies Aether Raids. So we'll have her in there. Okay, Attuned Micaiah, who I'm just going to immediately put in top 10 status as a, like, no questions asked. This is how we're going to do it. We're just going to put all of the top 10 units in S tier, and then all the units that I think have a claim to top 10 we'll put in some of the other tiers here. Okay, we have Bride Embla. I think she's also pretty good. Her support is insane. We got Emblem Mike, of course. We've got Duo Robin, who I'm just going to shoehorn right into top 10. All right, Toon Shida has a claim. This unit here, this Bunny Chloe is pretty good. I'm going to keep her in the running. We got Hortensia, who is also pretty solid. Ivy's also pretty solid. Okay, Valentine Myrrh. I think I want to put Valentine Myrrh in top 10 status because, I mean, just the Warp Bubble support on top of being an armor type is really good, right? So, like, just filling that many roles for a team is very effective. So we've got her in there. All right, Duo Leon, no questions asked. He's in top 10. All right, what else we got here? Okay, Nabata Altina we'll have as an option. We have Nabata I Green, who is, I think, at least a definite shoo-in for top 10 right now, because you consider all the things that she does. Like, a lot of these units are just doing way too many things. So, not only just being a AoE nuker and then having that bomb of a duo skill that she can pop at any moment, she's giving +1 movement to all your infantry and armor type units, and then she comes with, like, pulsing for herself and, like, all that stuff. So, just an insane unit. Okay, nothing else so far. I mean, Tina is interesting for Aether Raid's defense, but outside of that, she doesn't really have much utility elsewhere. All right, Duo Satyr. People are going to be mad if I don't have Duo Satyr at least in here. I've never been, like, the craziest fan of this unit. I think she's good for sure, but, like, me personally, I'm not too enticed by her ability to end actions the way that she does it, whereas, like, Leon just, like, cheats the way that he does it. All right, Legendary Camilla, I probably at least have her as an honorable mention in here. All right, Winter Edelgard as well, probably an honorable mention, and Winter Byleth also. and attuned Lucina. So, are there any units in here that I think I want to just, like, plop right into top 10 status? Wait, did we get Duo Shirena? Hold on. I might have missed Duo Shirena. Let's see. Yeah, let's get Duo Shirena in there. I kind of want to just toss Shirena and Gulveg into top 10 just because of what they do in Aether Raids. Like, if you've got both of them on the team, it's an instant win. Like, you will never lose Aether Raids offense if you have Gulveg and Shirena on the same team. So, I feel like I owe it to them to have them in top 10, but at the same time, they're not that menacing for summoner duels and like some of the other modes, but they're both duo heroes, so they score really high for stuff like Arena. So it's probably a disservice not to have them in top 10. Okay, let's move on to the next book. We'll take a look at Book 7. I'm not sure how much further back we can actually go, because the further back you go, of course, units start to taper off quite a bit. But there's probably still some valuable stuff in here in Book 7. Alright, regular Gulveg is pretty good, but obviously the summer one is just 10 times better. Alright, Ninja Zelgius, unfortunately, I think he's probably not in the discussion for top 10 anymore. Ninja Sanaki might still be. Okay, then there's also a bunch of dancers. I didn't pick any particular dancer, but if I were to pick a dancer, I think I would actually pick this one here. The Spring Mirabilis. Believe it or not, despite being a 4-star demo dancer, I think she's probably the best one, right? Like, just her dance effect giving mid-turn panic and debuffing to the enemies, which is really strong. Of course, there's a bunch of units that can protect against that, like King Freyr and also Attune Micaiah, but they only protect against start-of-turn debuffs. So a mid-turn panic effect that you can get out of this Mirabilis is insane. Also, just giving bonus doubler party-wide is also insane, so I kind of want to just say she's probably the best dancer right now, like, overall. Even though she's not one of those multi-action dancers like Legendary Ninian or, like, the duo dancers and the attuned dancers that can pop their duo skill to get another action. I think probably this one is just, like, as far as dancing is concerned, she's strictly the best one, I would say, just in terms of the effects that she does. Okay, so we'll go back to Book 7. Let's keep looking here. Alright, doesn't look like there's anything too nutty. I mean, Halloween Anna, I think, is still pretty solid. I don't know if she's top 10 anymore, but she's still certainly a unit we could at least discuss. Alright, then there's, of course, Wind Tribe Dagger and the other dagger. I think the Mythic Dagger would be the one that we'll go for, because she can have the added utility of having also, whatchamacallit, she can also run Canto Control. So you're getting quite a lot out of that dagger. Alright, so whenever I find her, I'll just toss her in. Alright, there we go. Alright, so let's keep going here. Alright, Brave Soren, I think he still has enough, like, going for him with the ability to turn anyone into a save unit. That's super effective, man. That's really good still. Okay, Ira, T-Ira for sure. King Freyr is still possibly... I don't think he's top 10, but he at least deserves to be in here. Alright, starting to taper off quite a bit now. Like, this is where we're getting to the point where these units are falling off a little. Yeah, I think this is probably about as far back as we need to go. I mean, Duo Elise, maybe. Her duo skill is really good, right? But, like, other than that, she herself, she doesn't contribute too much. Especially now that Null Sea Disrupt Echo is going to be a thing. So, definitely not the greatest for Elise anymore. And then, Goto was good for a minute, but then we got Breath of Life 4, so you don't really need him anymore. And I think that's probably about it. This Caden Lindy is still effective with... Depending on the map, like, if there's a lot of trench tiles and you just want to run calves and make a cav line, then she can be good. But other than that, like... Oh, Duo Asker is definitely still in here, I would say. And maybe, I kind of want to put Lindy in just for the utility of the terrain bypassing effect. So I guess we'll have her. And then there's also Brave Crom, who I think we should probably discuss as well. So we'll take a look at Book 6 real quick, and then we'll go ahead and start trying to get the rest of my top 10 in here. So what do we got here? Okay, Legendary Ninian. I'll toss her in there. Just like the multi-action dancers are very good. All right, Brave Seliph, he's probably fallen out of top 10. Brave Crom we can at least have in here, I guess. Oh, Duo Thor. Did I get the Mythic Loki? Hold on. We should add Mythic Loki, right? Let's get her in here. All right, where is that Mythic Loki at? All right, there she is. I don't think we added her prior, right? So we'll get her in there. And is there anybody else? I think we're probably coming to a close here. Yeah, it's looking like this is gonna probably be it. And there are other, like, random refined units that I'm probably not remembering from back in the day. Like Legendary Crom, for example. He's a unit that has a refine, and he's pretty old, but at the same time, he can still be a very effective unit. Yeah, I'm thinking this is about it. Yeah, nothing else here is really standing out. Maybe Duo Dagger. But the permanent Pathfinder with the Mythic Dagger and the Wind Tribe Dagger, I think, is a little better than the one-turn-only party-wide Pathfinder that she gives. Alright, yeah, this looks about right. So these are all the units that I think you may be able to argue as being a top 10 candidate. So far we have Attune Micaiah. We've got the Duo Baby Robin. We have Valentine Myrrh. We've got Valentine Leon. We've got Nabata Igreen. And then we have Duo Gulveg and Duo Sharena. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. So what do we need here? 3 more units for a possible top 10, huh? Okay, what do we got here? What do we got to work with in here? Emblem Ike. I mean, yeah, I probably should just have him in top 10. Like, if I have Gulveg and Sharena in here for what they do to Aether Raids, like, this guy is the same thing, right? Except instead of on the offensive spectrum, he does it on the defensive end. And then he's also annoying as hell in Summoner Duels, too. So, yeah, I think he's definitely top 10 worthy. What else is in here? Yeah, as far as, like, just guaranteed shoo-ins, I think this is probably it. So we have a definitive top 8 that I don't think anyone would argue against. And then for the remaining 2, I think this is where we're going to get into a little bit of, like, my opinion versus your opinion and so on and so forth. So what do we value the most here? What are we taking into account here the most? So obviously Aether Raids and Summoner Duels are the 2 most played competitive modes. So I would say a unit that's good in Aether Raids and Summoner Duels is probably going to shoot up to the forefront here. Sator's really good for both. Like, she's really good in Summoner Duels and also Aether Raids. So I think we can bump her up a little out of the rest of the pack here. Embla's really good too. She's a very big standout with the pulse support, and then also her gale forcing ability and also nullification of safe skills. Really good stuff. I mean, Lucina's really nice. Her action economy on Future Vision, and then also giving all the debuffs and the support. The treachery support is really sick with her. Is that enough, though, to have, like, her combat is okay. It's not, like, anything crazy. That's the one downside to her that I would say. Even though, like, her action economy is very effective. Alright, Dagger I think we can probably have up here, because just, like, Pathfinder is so busted, man. It's, like, one of the strongest effects in the game, and giving it as a permanent support is just equally busted. Tea Time Ira with her Kanto Distant is pretty sick. I actually saw a crazy combo the last round of Summoner Duels that I played where somebody gave her the, what was it? Somebody gave her the Celica ring, so and they gave her, like, pass as well, so she could, like, just warp in. Now, normally, T Ira only has 3 movement unless you pop the duo skill, but essentially Celica ring gives her, like, 4 movement with 5 reach. So it's like a permanent way to get a lot of reach out of her. She's melee, and there's not too many near saves running around. Like, we have Valentine Myrrh, but she's far save. So just being able to warp in with her, also bypassing like trees and trenches and all that stuff with the Celica ring is pretty good for her. And then the idea was you just warp in, you hit something, and then you cancel control or cancel distant yourself out of the way. And you can run pass on her. It's not like the craziest thing, but by getting Desperation from Firestorm Dance support from a Dancer, you can just get around her not having Flow Desperation. So it was a pretty effective strat that I saw in there. Alright, and then I guess like Duo Thor and Loki are probably the other standouts here. Yeah, like all of these other units are really good, and like I said, they all have a claim to be top 10 status, but for me right now, this is what I'm feeling the most. So between Duo Thor and Mythic Loki, which one do we like more here, as far as their debuff potential and all of that stuff goes? I mean, Loki definitely has better combat than Thor at this point, even though Thor can cool down, ramp herself into a blazing special and stuff like that. I feel like by this point, Loki is probably doing a little bit more. I mean, you can easily run Soaring Echo on this Thor here, because her C-Skill World Breaker is whatever. Like, you probably want to replace that anyway for, like, a Gold Border Ploy skill or Soaring Guidance or, like, maybe even a Crux skill at this point, right? Like, that could be an option for her. So, she's definitely got access to Echo skills. This Loki, though, her doing it at the start of every turn where she nullifies enemies' active bonuses is pretty good. And the Duo Thor only does that for one turn on the turn she pops the Duo skill. But then she's also inflicting Stall, which is really good. A massive middle finger to Duo Igreen, right? Like, Igreen getting hit by Stall is the most miserable thing in the world. So, Thor might have a better claim to it than Loki, I think. And then her Duo skill is mid-turn. It's not like start a turn, so you can like pop shenanigans with that. If the enemies do a Duo skill, you can like use this as a response to take away any buffs they may be getting. Like, for example, Duo Robin here, if she pops the Duo skill and she's getting Dual Strike and Rally Spectrum to the team, you can just give that the middle finger with Thor. So I'm kind of feeling Thor a little bit more than Loki, even though she's only got the one and done with the like start a turn bonus nullification thing. Hers comes at a better time, I would say, like mid-turn, and then also it's got a way wider radius of effect with 5 columns and 5 rows, as opposed to 3 columns and 3 rows like her. Also, it's not as restricted, because you can just do it, and it doesn't matter if the enemies have 3 bonuses or not. So, yeah, I'm kind of feeling Thor a little bit more, which, I mean, Summoner Duels players watching this, let me know what you think about that, because they're both good, right? Like, I could easily go either way on which one of these I think is better, but like right now I think I might be feeling Thor a little bit more. And then our final unit, I might go for Duo Satyr, because I think like we said with some of these units, their impact in Summoner Duels as well as Aether Raids is insanely huge, and I think out of all of these, Satyr probably has the most impact for both of those modes, right? And then she's still a duo hero, so she can score well for arena mode and things like that. But maybe I don't think T-Ira is as close as these other 3 here, so maybe even we could do this. Right? Like, oh man. Emblem is really good, though. Like, her cooldown support, you can give, like, a free pre-charged Glacies to this fool, and then he's destroying whatever he attacks at that point, regardless of Breath of Life 4 or not. And then she's also turning off saves and all that. Oh, man, yeah, that's pretty close. I don't know, but I think I'm going to go for Duo Satyr at this point. So, yeah, this would be my overall top 10 units in the game. Let me know your comments or your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree or disagree with my overall top 10 here? This is also in no particular order, although I guess, like, the first couple that we chose that were just, like, a shoo-in. For example, like, Attune Micaiah, Duo Leon, Igreen, and Robin, they were all, like, obviously going to be top 10 status. So that's going to wrap us up for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts once again in the comment section down below. Also, let me know your top 10 if you have a top 10 for the game. And definitely look forward to seeing what you guys have to say about that. So take care, fellas, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.